In this video, we're going to talk about a few things or a few ways to help special needs families that maybe you haven't thought about. So we were the parents of a child who had been shaken, and that caused a lot of, disabilities, and she was in and out of the hospital a lot, and she needed a caregiver 24/7 basically. So we're thinking of some things, that would have helped us out in the moment. My daughter passed away, but now looking back, we wish we would have had more people offering some help. And so what's one of the things that you were thinking of?
Well, for those of you who know families who have a child with special needs or something like that, even months after the initial event that caused them to have special needs, those families still need help. Like, we would go to the hospital, and the only people that would come watch the baby if we had to go to work or something like that, because we still had bills to pay. And so, especially whenever Sierra was single, it was hard to get people to watch the baby just at the hospital, even come and sit for 5 or 6 hours or so.
Yeah, you couldn't leave her.
Right.
I couldn't just leave her there, so someone had to be sitting with her all the time.
Right. And so even,
and also the older daughter, so we had to have two caregivers.
Yeah. And so there was someone had to be watching the older daughter, someone had to be watching the daughter in the hospital, and so it was hard to come up with two caregivers at the same time. So if you know families that are like that have kids that have special needs, they have to live lives too and pay bills and things like that, because especially if you get on government assistance, you don't get much, and so you still have to go out there and work and things like that. And that was a problem that we ran into, was trying to have caregivers to watch Christa or to watch her older sister. So that we could go to work. And that
can be as simple as you see someone on Facebook, maybe you don't even know them that well, but you could reach out and say, hey, I'm free on Saturdays. If you ever need someone to watch your child for any reason, you need to go to the store, whatever it is, or if you notice they're in the hospital, and just say, I'm free on Saturdays. Here's my number, and I'm open to helping. I can learn how to take care of your child. And people get intimidated by the thought of taking care of like a special needs child, but especially if you're in the hospital, there's help around. So
Right.
It's not like you couldn't ask for help if you come across something that intimidates you. And so so just reaching out to someone and saying, hey, here's my days off. If I can ever help you, then let me know. I would have loved to have had that, and I don't really recall that many people that ever did that. I might have had very few. But it was mostly, if I posted to Facebook, feeling desperate, I need help, I can't go to work, I have to work Saturday, can anyone help me? I would have a few people reach out. But also, the people who didn't reach out, it was probably because they were just too intimidated. And it really wasn't, that hard, especially being in a setting where you would have help. I did even have someone come one time, like overnight, who basically just stayed the night. So I was at the home, but just having someone to watch her really helped me to get some sleep. So even though they didn't have to do anything, like they didn't have to even change her diaper, I don't think, maybe rotate her some. So even though they didn't have to do anything, it helped to have somebody there to just make sure that she was breathing through the night, things like that, because that's a big deal for some special needs parents. And so offering the child care type thing, but also like respite care is what they call it. And so that's when you allow the parent to get some sleep or to go somewhere on a trip. You offer them to go somewhere overnight, and or even just offering to help with the other children. So if it's someone who has multiple children, well, they need help with the other kids too. And so you never know what burden you might be lifting by taking the children, the siblings, out to go do something, just to have fun. Because I know as a parent, we struggled with helping our kids, our other kids. So we had an older daughter at the time too, when we had our special needs daughter, and the attention that we had to give Christa took away from our older daughter. And so
Right.
we would ask people sometimes that we felt like we could trust, hey, can you just hang out with her for a little while? So she felt special. So she felt like she was getting attention.
Right.
And just had somebody to talk to.
And watching older kids is not that hard. They just want someone to play games with. But even with the other kids, in terms of the special needs ones, it's really easy to learn the stuff, even if you're in a home setting. But especially if they're at the hospital, guys, you're literally just there just to be a representative for the parent. You don't have to answer any questions because they know you don't know, and they'll just call the mom anyways. Because every time I took Christa to the hospital for some reason, they always called Sierra and asked her all the same questions all over again. Right?
Yeah.
So that you're not there to answer questions, to make decisions, anything. You're just there to be there so that the parent can get away, and the hospital knows that, and they're willing to help you out too.
Yeah. So those are a few different ways to help. But even outside of that, another way to help is just by offering to, take a meal or something.
Yeah, buy them lunch.
Buy a gift
That was always
card.
a helpful.
There's lots of times where, when my daughter, especially in the hospital, I know not every child always goes to the hospital a lot, but especially in the hospital, I needed some gift cards. For one, I wasn't working as much, but to be able to have had a gift card, to be able to, just get whatever I wanted whenever I needed, was a big deal, because I couldn't always, it was nice and generous, and I appreciated if someone offered to bring food, and that was great. But at the same time, I couldn't just use it whenever. And there's lots of things going on that, if someone brings food, I may not be able to get to eat it for 3 hours because there's so much crazy stuff going on in the hospital. And so just having an online gift card where you can just go anytime that you actually have free is a big help. But even at home, things get crazy at home sometimes. If the child, like our daughter, would sometimes have days of crying and crying and crying, and would need just so much attention. And that means I'm not able to focus on other things. So we're not able to clean our house, or we're not able to help our daughter with homework, or older daughter, or we weren't able to, make a good dinner. And so just offering that to someone, you don't have to have a certain reason. They don't have to be sick. They don't have to be, experience the loss of a child. The general time that we usually ask people, hey, can I make you dinner, is if you lose a child, or if a child is born, things like that. But when it comes to special needs parents, that could be just any time. You could basically make their life easier every single day if you just offered something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because they're always going to have something going on. They're never not going to have something going on. And so just being there to offer that, or to offer, hey, I have some extra time on Saturday. Can I come clean your house? Can I come help you clean? Can I come help you organize your kids' room? There's just so many things that you can, if you really sit to think and be intentional about thinking about that, think outside the box of what you would normally just offer people, and it would be a huge help. And if they say no, they say no. You just move on, let go.
You tried.
Yeah, but don't be afraid of getting rejected. Just ask them, hey, I have this free time. Is there anything that I can do? And some people do have a hard time asking for help. So this person may seem like they're strong, brave, got it all together, and really they're really dying for help on the inside. And so just don't be afraid to ask. So I hope that's helpful with,
giving you guys some ideas to
Yeah.
help other people.
Yes.
Hmm?
And we'll see you on the next video.